My work very much addresses the relationship between East and West and the rift between East and West. In my work, I sort of try to put a lot of unexpected elements together to have the viewer re-question what they're seeing. I think we're used to seeing a lot of footage from the Arabic world or from Palestine, where a lot of violence and blood, and what I'm trying to do is show another image of where I come from. In Bethlehem Bandolero, for example, I tried to show the city of Bethlehem. Very few people know that the city of Bethlehem is actually in the West Bank, and it's also a 4,000-year-old city. Unfortunately, what we see from Palestine is just deserted areas and images of violence. So I wanted to show this heritage in the film. In this film, I tried to challenge the idea that the Western world is always the analyzer. It's the thinker, it's the one that watches what's happening in the East or the Middle East and decides or comes up with solutions for that. As we know, a lot of countries in the Middle East are used for documentaries. So what we see that comes out of the Middle East is documentary style films. What I wanted to show in the film is that not only are Palestinians, for example, so exposed to what's happening in the rest of the world because we have access to CNN, BBC, and all different news and the same pop cultural elements that the West is exposed to. I also have the right to challenge it. So in this sense, what I try to do is have the analyzer become the analyzed. In my work, I try to use pop elements in order to sort of put Palestinian work in an international dialogue. I try to use elements that the rest of the world could relate to, and also that Palestinians relate to, like pop elements such as you see in film or music. In Bethlehem Bandolero, I dress as a gunslinger, and I also use very kitsch music to sort of achieve this effect.
Det er ikke nogen hemmelighed, at vores værk Hip Hip Today er en reaktion på det politiske og sociale klima i Danmark. Ideen til værket blev faktisk undfanget i Skagen. Vi var lige kommet hjem fra Palæstina og skulle af en eller anden grund på weekendtur til Skagen, og da vi var på museet, fandt vi ud af den her kontrast, som vi oplevede ved lige at have set den dybeste armod på den ene side, og så pludselig stå foran et museum og se folk valfarte til at dyrke den her nationalromantiske følelse. Det satte nogle ting i skub. Kontrasten mellem vores oplevelser i Palæstina og så vores oplevelser i Danmark er selvfølgelig også noget, vi har gået og rodet med i mange år. I den forstand, at Larissa som araber har boet længe i både Vesten og især i Danmark. Og det har selvfølgelig givet os en række oplevelser, som vi gerne vil sætte på spidsen og bruge. Resultatet af at lade et så prominent værk som Krøyers Hip Hip Hurra fortolke af en minoritetskunstner er, at der sker en form for omvendt underkastelse. Der er selvfølgelig også en feministisk undertone i værket, og det er der en idé med. selvom vi danskere ofte føler, at vi har foretaget det her sociale og mentale kvantespring og været igennem den ene frigørelse efter den anden, så halter vi stadig bagefter på kønsrollerne.
I work a lot with the idea of West meets East or East meets West, because for me it's quite interesting. I lived most of my life abroad, but I'm originally from Bethlehem, Palestine, and I find this misunderstanding or this rift between East and West to be quite absurd. One fears what one doesn't know, and it creates this lack of interest even to engage in the other person's dialogue. It's easier to categorize people in order not to have this onus of actually researching or finding out about the other side. After 9/11 and the war on Iraq, it seemed that there was this sort of general consensus that there is a particular way of approaching the Middle East or a particular way of understanding the Middle East. So the Middle East in the news started getting portrayed as one entity, as though all these different countries constitute one country. And so this discrepancy between what the place really is, or what the culture really is, and what we actually make of that culture is what I find really interesting.